To which I reply, this is Tommy Walker of the Monstrous Walker Show. I am the author of the book that you see on your left. But what I'm into these days, more than not, is the guessing game. Monstrous Walker's guessing game, which we do at book crossing. They're making like the mystery has to do something with Led Zeppelin. But if that is the case, how do you explain this? In the toward the top of the percentage list. One of many questions a person ought to have in mind. I took a peek here and I saw four sets of guesses, I have to admit. I took a peek at 4 sets of guesses. Try to figure, should I face it all? And yes, I should face it. Let's go to it. The page's turn. Jimmy Page went to number 1 in percentage. And so Led Zeppelin is the top overall. Jimmy Page went to the top in percentage. They started throwing me all kinds of Led Zeppelin stuff between album titles, they started on band members. We're getting band members in spades this time around because of Page doing well. And songs. And only Jimmy Page went ahead. Only Jimmy Page climbed at one end. And it certainly wasn't as good a showing as Zeppelin was before it. But they have not moved off of Zeppelin. Although I'm seeing a little bit of exploratory stuff towards the possibility of another direction, toward the possibility of giving up Zeppelin for something else. So let's just, I guess for anyone coming in here for the first time, the mystery, believe it or not, is pudding. But we have such a thing called a modifier, and the modifier is Pink Floyd. And what this means is that when I go to deeper web, as you shall soon see, I end up plugging in their guesses and quotes along with, well, actually, the way I do it is along with this. Modifier and mystery side by side to see what comes up. This is search engine hot and cold that we're playing. And just a word version of the game that probably many of us grew up on. You are blindfolded and are led to an object in the room by other people around you saying hotter, getting warmer, getting colder, getting colder. And we're just applying the same principle to words. I have a word and you're getting warmer, you're getting colder. And we use a search engine to make the judgments of whether you're getting warmer and colder rather than a subjective human. And, well, let's hit the parent thread. Let's see if anybody has snuck in. If there's any more than the 4 sets I know about. Okay, no. Okay, great job. Guitar and riff says Greyflake. Jimmy Page is known for the guitar. But if riff does well, what are you going to make of that? Is there a riff that you can actually attach a name to, language to? That goes logically with Led Zeppelin doing well? So Greyflake was the last guesser of the previous round and the first guesser of this one. So he has a block of 4 consecutive guesses. And after Greyflake, John Paul Jones and Synthesizer from Frances. Now Frances is the big star lately. She has 3 percentage number 1s in this game alone. I would say that she has been the big driver, the biggest driver. And she broke records. She's threading records and she's breaking records related to percentage number ones. She has 8 consecutive games with multiple percentage number ones. No one has ever done that before. She's pushed her game totals from 2 to 3. But I don't really expect that for her to keep rocking, as they say, for her to keep rolling with those particular 2 guesses. Okay, John Paul Jones and the synthesizer, guitarist and bassist, says Woody S. So is it about the guitar or is it about the guitarist? I think guitarist makes a lot of sense, actually. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. So here's Woody. Woody was late on the congratulations, but she's here, so hooray. I think this means that we're still lacking Aber, Peter, and Harley. A couple people who generally come to play, but didn't show up at all during the previous mystery squishy. So after guitarist and bassist, we get Atlantic Records and Robert Plant from Libra Romana. Atlantic Records, Robert Plant, and poor Bonham, John Bonham. Poor John Bonham and poor drummers. Atlantic Records. Well, it's moving in another direction. But we're not off of Zeppelin yet. So I have the 4 sets. And what the heck, we're going to do a repeat search. Basic process. So guitar and guitarist, back and forth between those guys. Riff, no direct repeats though. Probably my first Paul, do you think? Yeah, okay. Synthesizer is kind of a strange word. We know about guitarist already. Bassist. Atlantic. And how about Plant? Okay, no repeats. And what do we have over here? Let's march forward with the guess count. Yeah, I would say it's rather important that I take care of these guesses now rather than later. I've messed up my bedtime. I don't know if I should. Maybe I should even give up sleep for the day. I don't know. What do you think? Normally in the morning I allow myself just 30 minutes to do everything. Get dressed and take care of the people. And I don't have time. I would not have time to give a 4-set batch the attention it deserves in those 30 minutes. So it's a good thing that I am taking care of these guesses now. I have a little bit of an inclination. I would have a little bit of an inclination to hold off until somebody moved off of Zeppelin. I would like to reward that happy moment. The person who bears down and thinks things through a little bit better. Because this way, the faster I do this, the faster someone who didn't give much thought to their guesses the last time around can throw out a couple more to increase my workload again without giving a lot of thought to the guesses. But again, we want to give we want to give a 4-set batch the basic attention it deserves. It cannot be managed. If I were going when my alarm went off at 5:45 a.m. Okay, guitar. Guitar is the first one. Guitar, guitar, guitar. See what we got. I think the guitarist goes higher than, I don't know. Guitarist kind of, I don't know. 41.9. Maybe in some ways is maybe guitar will win overall and guitarist will go. No, any old fool can have a guitar though, right? 4.06 thousand without rising to the level of being a guitarist. 4.06 thousand for guitar. I like it in its way. How about riff? It kind of looks like a champ. Now, what does riff raff? Android apps. Yeah, we're not seeing riff meaning riff. At least in the upper half of this page. 3.61 million. And 463. John Paul Jones. I kind of don't think so. I don't think his name's going to get dropped alongside Pink Floyd as much as Jimmy Page is going to. Really? Scottish American Sailor is the first one? And then comes Zeppelin? Really? American Revolution? Really? 2 out of 3. Cavaliers basketball? Oh, really? You're kidding me. I would not have expected John. I would not have expected with the poor guy. You give him 3 names and he still can't climb to the first on really? The crusty old sailor? Naval fighter? Who cares about a naval fighter? Really? .179. Give a man 3 names and he can't distinguish himself from some naval fighter. 89. Thousands, hundreds, tens. What kind of score do we get? Nice little score. Synthesizer. Synthesizer. 1.74 million. Why am I there? $224. Nice little score. But not given music as a clue. Not especially. Now, so we just did guitars. That means this has to be guitarist, right? This could be fairly strong, I think. 4.6 million, though. Let's see. I was kind of thinking less hits. Was it 4.64 million? Did I just hallucinate that last 4? 985. Bassist. I want to go back a second. No, that's kind of what I remember. I was thinking, did I just hallucinate the 4, or was it just a flat 4.6? Okay, well, you can check me, of course, but I may be totally wrong. But that looks right to me. I think that's the direction that I screwed up. So now let's do bassist. Bassist, I don't think so. I don't think that's where the comparisons come in between Zeppelin and Floyd. 1.88 million. $464. Atlantic Records. So, who owns Atlantic Records? They're much bigger than any given artist, right? Numerous recordings, rhythm and blues, rock and roll. Who's in their lineup? Many, and they're active. 0.455. $287 is quite good, really. That looks like the best of the batch in percentage, doesn't it? Of course, that's going to change with Robert Plant here. But then again, you know, Pink Floyd's not really competing with anybody for singing. Technical singing voice. But yeah, 630 of everyone so far. Atlantic Records is better. Loses to a couple of them overall. But nobody's really doing it overall. Poor John Paul Jones. Wow. I have to say it's a surprise that Atlantic Records would go higher. Of course, I don't really know the story. If Floyd might be one of theirs, now or formerly or whatever. Alan Parsons, he declined Pink Floyd's invitation. Yeah, they're not that closely related. Okay, Robert Plant. I don't especially think so. I should wrap this up. 0.725. 0.725. $706. So it's up there. And as a matter of fact, yeah, that's not where I want to go. 706. I think it actually is higher than Zeppelin itself, but that it does trail. So the 973 does go higher there. And yes, it goes higher again. But it loses thoroughly to Jimmy Page. There's Zeppelin at 954, so yes, Plant slipped past him. Well, this is clearly a game in which top percentage scorers can do their dirtiest in traditionals as well. Not every game is structured that way. This one is. And yet, knowing this, we have not gone higher in when we have gone higher in percentages, we have not had the traditionals falling along nearly as high. Because the margin here, this 3-to-1 ratio between best and rest, is not going to be that apparent to the guessers who are only being exposed to rankings and not the scores themselves. There's a couple things I want to do here. I'm starting to come around. One thing is I have AMP recorded in the way that Grayfling spelled it, as if it were an acronym, and maybe it is most of the time. AMP or AMP, bunch of stuff, can mean all kinds of things. Certification, looking for a beautiful young place for your next party or special event. Association of Molecular Pathology, Walmart AMP, what does that mean? The Walmart AMP, Trek Secretary's AMP Research, what does it all mean? I kind of think that I was just getting a, I think that's Grayfling stylization right now. And that what all he really meant to say was amp, as an amplifier. So I'm going to change this. No material differences. And it'll avoid confusion. You don't want a thing capitalized, something that's naturally capitalized next to other things that are in caps because they score well. For presentation purposes, it's better to go with lowercase if I can manage that reasonably. The other thing I wanted to do before I move forward was I would like, let's see, to select the D's. Yeah, okay. I want to take all these D's. I'm seeing too many zeros. So my thought here is have my formula multiply everything by 10 and see if that can get rid of the zeros for me. Good. Now what I want to do is I want to order everything by overalls to see if I actually took care of this enough. I'll have a couple more here that are not poking through. So I think I'd rather have everybody above. I don't like to look at zeros like that. So I'm going to take it one more zero. And at 240,000, I think is about as high as I can naturally hold in my head. Good job. Good deal. Okay. Now we've all got manageable numbers. And we're going to move forward. Let's see if anyone has shown up. Anybody new? If we never see Ever, Peter, and Harbley again, we still have 6 guessers. At least 2 people not accounted for in this game. But alas, this appears to be all that we're going to be dealing with. So, G, largest. Do not break ground, but it certainly makes sense for old Jimmy and Robert to be next to each other. Let's break some ground though, folks. 55. Yeah, okay. Let's see, D. Oh, really? Where was I doing? This should be AV. Why does it say A's? AP. Oh, let's take a look at AV. It's that. Oh. Doesn't even get scooped up most of the time. Something I have, this AV column. I guess I never really addressed this AV column before. This is about, this 1, 2, 3, 4 business is just to keep my headers in place. Guest number, screen name, and the rest of it. And there's probably better ways to do that. Probably better ways to keep the headers in place. D, doing by overall scores. Now here we have Zeppelin head of Jimmy Page and Robert Plant, as it should be. Surely by now you can get the hint to move the heck off of Zeppelin. Nothing going. We have a list that does respond, where that overall does respond, and yet it's not crowning anybody new. Next will be our long slog of differentials. Now this is the thing that goes by the wayside. When I have only 30 minutes to get dressed, line my pockets, take care of the people, neglect shaving often in order to make it happen. These calculations go out the window. I do not have time for freaking differentials when I'm down to, certainly not with any more than 2 sets of guesses in the batch. I would never have this kind of time. And of course I've been lovingly fiddling with a couple of other elements that I would never dream of fiddling with if I were strapped for time. Well, some very nice ones. In fact, everything looks like it's positive with the exception of this -1, whatever that is attached to. I'm curious about it. That might be the thing to mention in this round. Zeppelin over Plant. Well, Plant ties Page, except that Page got there first. I don't know, should the people be made aware of that? Well, we're past top 5s now. This is the point where I start printing top 5s. When we get past 50 guesses. If there's no new champs, I still do top 5s. So let me see. I think we're ready now to fire it all up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a big win. Yeah, Riff. Riff went under. Our best round yet in terms of differential score behind the scenes. Which is the one thing I do expose them to that. It's the one area sometimes I go beyond mere rankings. I'll tell them the differential scores above or below 0 for a batch as a whole, not giving away individual pieces of the puzzle. So, yeah, everything in the top half. 8 out of 8 in the top half. we're also dealing with 8 out of 8 dealing with music, and 8 out of 8 being not that super high in guitar, with the exception of guitar, I guess. Not being that high in hits. A couple things that would suggest music should do well. All right. Copy. And last chance for any new sets of guesses. Everything in the top half. Traditionals will not agree, though. At least 2 that don't make it, including John Paul Jones. That's pretty wild. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Especially with his bandmate being way up there. But there's that naval fighter. There's an American sailor that John Paul Jones has to compete with. Is next. There's the 8. See what happens if we do AK. Is there separation all the way down? Well, there's those 2, guitars and basses. 14, 12, 9, 8, 6, 6, 2, 1. Well, yeah, okay. 11th is how that properly goes. That tie. And what's the score here? 26, 35, 43, 49, 55, 57. 57 to 1. 35, 43, 49, 55, 57. 57 to 1 is something that should be familiar to them. That's the score that we won by, or that's what I'll say. Okay. Percentages, traditionals, differentials. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Riff does not do it, does not hold its own. Copy and paste. Well, I am going to make some room for top 5s. I'm curious about John Paul Jones. If Plant and Atlantic follow it, then that would mean that Paul Jones had once been in the top 5. Let's see. Plant and Atlantic in relation to John Paul Jones. Yeah, Plant and Atlantic both came after, both went higher. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And in fact, it was one of the top 50 guesses. So John Paul Jones was 5th out of 50th, and then was beaten by both Atlantic Records and Robert Plant. And what that means is that I need to go down to percentage 7 to recognize Um, going below top 10th to recognize mid-rounder. To recognize mid-round elite. Okay, percentage top 7. You know, I could reasonably break out the extras this round. I have all kinds of different measures for special occasions. Ah, dearie, dear, dear, dear. Dearie, dear, dear, dear. Gee. And what's the story about who does what? Quite a bit of range in percentages. Quite a bit of range in the names of the people associated with the top percentage scorers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Jones, Yardbird, Line Record, Physical Graffiti, Zeppelin, Plant and Page. Copy. So John Paul Jones. Atlantic Records actually went higher. And Robert Plant joins. Okay. So then to the traditionals, it's going to be just Plant and guitar. Traditional 5, that is. And you know what? If I'm going to be going whole hog here, I don't know. Do I? Should I? We have plenty of nice scorers that would not seem to require. Who's gonna win in anything else? Why should this get recognized? Why should I do extras? Why should I subject you to extras? You've been the soul of patience here. Why should I subject you to it? Let's just do everybody by D, because I don't think that X is really going to bring out anything special. Though it is something I start introducing after guess 50, when an extra can do better than something else. Dealy 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 D. Yes, here's the overalls. Francis has the top 2, but there's a lot of representation from other people. And this is search-friendly quotes that we're dealing with here. Zeppelin, Page, Plant, rock and roll, and guitar. The rock song just barely outside. Okay. Traditional 5. Robert Plant joined in. Guitars from this round. Zeppelin, Page and Plant, rock and roll guitar. Who's in the differential 5? Well, again, John Paul Jones in 7th. We know the drill there. We know that Plant and Atlantic were taken up as the same order. 2, 5, 7, 10, 14. A little bit different look there. Guitarist, do the percentages, do they follow each other around? No, they don't. And then Plant, guitarist, Atlantic, John Paul Jones. Guitar and guitarist has some difference there. But it's basically the same story. John Paul Jones would have been 5th in differentials before Plant and Atlantic Records came in. So yes. Differential 7. To recognize mid-rounder. A little shortened restatement of what I already wrote for percentages. For the percentage 7. Okay, how about AP smallest, followed by the AK largest. And I want to take a look over here. What do I want to take a look at? 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's actually 9th now, isn't it? Because there's a 3-way tie. So first off, John Paul Jones is in 7th. Oh, this is kind of interesting. He's already down to 9th now. But I have to list him as a rock bands from the previous round. So you have to take it all the way down to 9th to get John Paul Jones recognized. Francis has the first 2 in this one. Libramana way up there. Yeah, Libramana way up there. Just dropping in on the scene for the first time. Actually, that's not quite true. This is only her 3rd and 4th guesses of the game. And she's right up there with just about anybody else. So we're going to take this down to 999. Actually, differential 9. Robert Plant. So Robert Plant does get mentioned after Page. I mean, even though you look up here, the differentials period, he's get billed as 2nd. But if you look deeper, he is not being recognized as being ahead of Page here. Anyways, so Plant and Atlantic Records. Zep Yardbird, Rock and Roll, Physical Graffiti, Rock Band, John Paul Jones, finally. The bland rock band is better. And we're not going higher than Zeppelin. Zeppelin has diffs. Zeppelin has trads. Percentages favor dudes. Yardbirds even have John Paul Jones. There's that issue of confusion, but still. Differential 9. To recognize mid-rounder in three-way tie for 7th. To recognize mid-rounder now in three-way tie for 7th. Plant and Atlantic Records. And guitar does pretty well there, but yeah. There are no true runner-ups. We have a tie for runner-up. You know, that's probably the reason for me to subject you to extras. Because if I can find a pure runner-up somewhere, if one of my freak stats could show a pure runner, well, there it is, percentage 7. I actually don't have to look any further for that even. This is going to be a 1 exclamation point round. Nothing should do better in anything else, I don't think. I don't know. Maybe turn this over. Maybe we're going to do better with, rock song or something. I think I should look this stuff. I think I should do extras. So here, maybe I can figure out why I'm doing the scrolling before I get too much further. W is what I want. W is what I want. Just find out the qualified best and how percentages climb. Look at the manner in which percentages climb as shares go down. So last we knew we had 5 qualified bests. Let's see what the story is now. Home makes 1, rock is 2, some narrow misses, and then you get to guitar 3rd. So guitar is going to knock out anything above 45-54, which means concert is gone. It used to be concert before you get out this huge jump to Led Zeppelin. So we have guitar outdoing concert. Home, rock, guitar over concert. Okay. And then the huge jump to Zeppelin. Guitar over concert. Okay, 954. Zeppelin. And then what happens? And yes, Plant actually does go ahead of Page. Plant is in just as much as Page is. So Plant before Page and guitar over concert. Plant before Page and guitar over concert. Let's try that again. There's the most recent addition of the qualified bests. Well, let's bring in Robert Plant. You know what? I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to start converting these firsts that all qualified bests are firsts. But now I'm going to apply the search friendly quote condition. Search friendly quote. I don't know. Cut though. Cut. We're going to put concert up here. Bye bye to concert. Note on my finger to mention it. So this was home rock guitar. Right. Actually, in quotes, in caps. Qualified best. So guitar goes over concert, and then Robert Plant squeezes in. So we're up to 6 now. All right. In the meantime, everybody gets their firsts traded in for quotes. And forevermore, they will now be enabled to do some quick searching if they so choose. And here comes Page. Alrighty. Qualified best. 1, 2, 3, 6 of them now. Say. Guitar transcends over concert while Plant enters peacefully. That's how I express that sort of thing. We turn the page. Plant is certainly a ready word for being punny, you would think. Plant blooms. Somebody plants a good one. Plant potted even. Well, oh, what do I subject you to, though? Team 8 of 8 in percentage. Might even be sort of even better. But we didn't make it in diffs. We didn't make it in trads. As far as doing 8 out of 8, we were 6 out of. I think we were only 6 out of 8. We were 6 out of 8 in trads, 7 out of 8 in diffs, 8 out of 8 in percentage. We do have an individual guess doing well, except it's not as noteworthy as the others. The most noteworthy thing that happened was we had our biggest win in percentage, I would say, 57-1, our differentials. But why mention the differential 1-point loss when you have an 8 out of 8 to go to in percentage? All 8 planted? There we go. I kind of like this. All 8 planted in percentage, top half. All 8 planted in percentage, top half. Team wins 57-1. In behind the scenes. I think this is the first time I'm bringing up that concept. Team wins 57-1 in behind the scenes differentials. Guitar transcends over concert, while guitar transcends over concert. Yeah, I'll give him a full name. I was punny in the headline. We'll give him a full name the second time, or the other time. Well, Robert Plant enters peacefully. And all kinds of other stuff going on. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to come back on the air if I can find an extra, but I will not subject you to it. So let's see what we have. All 8 planted in percentage, top half. Team wins 57-1 in behind the scenes differentials. Guitar transcends over concert, while Robert Plant enters peacefully. There they all are. Percentage 7 going below top 10th to recognize mid-round elite. Traditional 5. Differential 9 to recognize mid-rounder, now in 3-way tie for 7th. Qualified best. Home rock guitar, Led Zeppelin, Robert Plant, Jimmy Page. Deedly 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 dee, deedly 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 dee. Yep, keep Jimmy company, good idea. Good morning, Woody. Ah, the damn sailor. And Riff does not make it. Okay. Okay, it's been real and it's been fun. I'm going to do a bit more work here that I'm not going to subject you to, although I might show you my final product if I have something to show you. This, once again, has been Tommy Walker, who is the inventor of the guessing game. And you never know it from the shape of the game, but the mystery's pudding. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat?